good evening, and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and with me tonight is our wonderful Wonder Woman, Miss Raine S Love. How are you doing, honey child? What's up? What's new?
I'm just doing awesome now that I've been talking to you. It's a little cold here. But we're getting around our little fake little fireplace.
We need to discuss this, young lady. Now, I told you to keep that snow on the other side of the Denver line.
I never do. I've always got to have it over.
You had to send it over to me. I'm telling you, I don't want it.
You know, our listeners, here's the deal. Aeson has a passion for, snow cones. And so every year, at least 3 or 4 times, I got to send him some snow, okay? That's just the deal, okay? So this is his first snow cone, by arriving. I think he's requested some extra special syrups this year for Christmas, and that's okay.
I'll tell you, if I get snowed in for Christmas, you are paying for my vacation, young lady. Of course, I'm coming to Denver, so you can pay for it anyhow.
Absolutely. We can enjoy the
how
snow
are
here.
You?
I'm actually doing quite well. Been busy, just trying to, it was my oldest son's birthday, and in the middle of cold weather and snowing, his neighbors, my son, his new wife, and my other son and I decided to barbecue and build a bonfire for all the neighbors to enjoy.
Well, that was nice of you. Did you roast some marshmallows?
No, we didn't, but we had hamburgers and hot dogs in the middle of winter, and it was rather cold, but it was fun.
Great. Good.
So
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
The boys practiced shooting on, a little kid's BB gun. It didn't work.
Well, speaking of fires and, firefighters, there was actually a little scary situation going on down in North Carolina. In Louisville. And this kind of brought some attention to both of us because it was like, huh? What? For those who don't know, there was a Lonnie Weimer, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, was off at a party at a restaurant and began noticing that people started acting a little weird. Now, it's a holiday season, and granted, people normally act weird. Sorry, you guys do. But this went a little bit deeper. What are your thoughts on this, Miss Rainey?
Well, are you referring to the fire, or are you referring to him?
I'm referring to the situation. I mean, because they're out at a restaurant and there wasn't a fire. Just people started acting a little weird.
I am a firm believer because I've experienced it myself, and I've watched people in strange situations especially like when I pick up maybe that somebody's passing or there's something getting ready to happen. I experience this actually quite often with my students back in the day, where if something was going on, the energy was off, something was getting ready to happen. I believe as humans we have that natural, instinctual ability to pick up something's wrong. Something's wrong, or something's okay, And if you observe people's behavior, even if they're not completely aware of what's going on, they're actually picking it up. And that's why I always say when you wake up in that morning and something in you says, something's not right today, I don't think I need to be on the road driving. You need to listen to that. I learned that the hard way one time, And so when you're observing people acting weird, go ahead.
And with him, he started noticing that people were acting weird, people were getting piercing headaches. And it turns out, and this is kind of scary, the restaurant's furnace had a malfunction and was producing carbon monoxide in the restaurant. Luckily, he snapped into his training. He called the fire department. Only 12 people were hospitalized, but, on average, a year, 430 people die from accidental carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, yes.
So this was kind of shocking to me because, some of these signs can be a little bit misleading. in today's world. You know, we've got flus, we got colds, we got bugs going around. You know, but here's some common signs for CNO poisoning: headaches, nausea, dizziness, shortness of breath.
Right.
Some more obvious signs: loss of muscle control, loss of consciousness, chest pains, fatigue, flu-like symptoms, confusion, depression, hallucination. Agoraphobia, you know, basically just staring off into space, abdomen pains, fainting, memory difficulty. You know, this is why it's so important, and people don't think of this, to have a CNO detector in your house. And, you know, while we're on this, you don't want one of those that is just the standard, you know, little, looks like a secondary fire alarm.
Right.
You want a digital one, because just last week I was watching, you know, I watch weird shows because I have to be entertained. And it was The Monster Inside Us. And they were talking about this couple that was all into clean living, healthy living. You know, they ate organic foods, and they were vegetarians, and they, you know, exercised and were hiking, and they moved into a house. And within a year of that house, their whole life had gone to hell. You know, the wife had gotten so depressed she couldn't get out of the bed. The husband was having weird rashes and health problems. And come to find out, they sat down and finally talked with a doctor together and was giving all these symptoms and signs and when it started and all that. And the doctor looked at him and said, "When's the last time you had the heater checked? When's the last time you had maintenance done on your heater?" They didn't even think of it.
You're correct.
They were renting the property. You know, they were renting a property. They were slowly being poisoned by carbon monoxide, or CO.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I've heard of people developing toxic issues, you know, moving into places, you know, where they, you know, they've been overexposed to toxins, you know, where they can't be in a place where there's carpeting because of all the chemicals in it, and paints and different things like that. Carbon monoxide is, I think I've heard it called the silent killer. Okay, you really don't often know or recognize it. Probably the most common couple of symptoms I've heard about is, of course, the confusion and the sleepiness, where people simply go to sleep and they don't know. But isn't this also something that's more common in the winter, or am I incorrect on that?
No, this is more common in winter because the biggest culprit is the, in general, has to do with the heaters, the gas furnaces.
Right. And you're thinking you're just getting cozy and you're feeling sleepy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you think, oh, I'm going through winter depression. Or, oh, it's just the cold.
Right. Right. And winter depression can also be challenging, too. Is that why you wanted to bring up my fake heater? What wall heater?
Well,
you know?
Not only your fake heater, but, you know, fires in general. I mean, people, be conscious of what you're doing. You know, be conscious that you don't deep fry a turkey for Christmas in the kitchen, that your Christmas tree doesn't go next to the heating vent, you know, because that's just waiting for happenings.
Right.
You know, because during the winter,
you don't leave your Christmas tree lights on. Yeah. You don't leave your Christmas
tree lights on all the time.
Right, exactly. You know, and make sure you turn them off when you do go someplace, you know, and put water in there with your tree. You know, and those are just things that, you know, we just don't think about. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation, you know.
Or even, you know, I know that a lot of people have lovely garages to keep their cars in. Please don't start your car in your house. Open the garage door first before starting your vehicle.
Oh.
Because you can start that vehicle with the garage door shut.
Protect your Kia on the road.
And by the time that the heat has warmed up your car, you've done killed yourself in the right environment.
Wow.
So please, use some sense, people.
Yeah.
Speaking of using some sense and actually using a good bit of sense and some affluence, Dolly Parton is really taking this forest fire that we talked about a few weeks ago in the Smoky Mountains. I think it was this show or my show, one of the two. She's mobilizing. You know, she has stepped up, donated money. Everybody affected by the fire will be getting $1,000 a month from her organization alone. That's coming out of Dolly's pocket. That's not coming out of anybody else's pocket but Dolly's.
Right, exactly. She has always been one of probably my top favorite people in the whole wide world. And I'm just not surprised to hear about this at all. But what I'm so impressed about is the other people that she's brought in. For example, Kenny Rogers. You know, they've been good friends for many, many years. You know, and come in and he's having some health issues even at that. And, you know, rallied people within, you know, the entertainment business to come in and, you know, get donations coming in. In fact, I think they've come up with somewhere around $9 million to help people out. And, of course, you know, the area where the fires is close to her home, you know, and her family's there, you know. And, but you know.
And 85% of her business, though.
Exactly. And
luckily, you know, she only lost a few places.
Yeah, actually, you know, she didn't suffer as much of a loss as others. But what I appreciate about her, you know, and you know, we've seen this many times, you know, with people in the entertainment business, and I really love country music, entertainment business in particular, because I just love the way they come out and they just really try to use their talents and skills, you know, to bring in their influence, to bring in people, donations to help people out. We've seen this, you know, in the Midwest, you know, when they've had tornadoes and hurricanes, and then, of course, Dolly with the situation with the fires. Because a lot of these communities, you know, let's face it, they get forgotten.
Right,
and they get
do.
the after effects.
And you know, this isn't the first time Dolly's done this. You know, she built her businesses there to help that community because it had gone dead. You know, after logging left, there was nothing left there.
Right.
But, you know, it's been a while. I can't remember the exact number of years, but when Reba lost her band, she said, you know what, I'm not on tour. My band will be out there in about 2 days. As soon as you're ready to get back up on the road, we're ready to go.
Right.
She has always been, even though she is a smart, very, very smart businesswoman. Don't let that little blonde accent fool you. She's a hard business lady. She is known to do that. But she also has always believed in giving back to the community, giving back to the fans, giving as much as she can to, you know, the area where she grew up in. She's always been that. If I have, it's, you know, she said in an interview earlier today, it's my responsibility because I can do it.
Exactly. And you know what? I agree with her, okay? Because we have people who sometimes, you know, when they get in a privileged position, and I know that everybody has to earn their way of, you know, being famous and making a lot of money, they do sometimes forget. But then there are those who don't. And see, Dolly came from very, very, very poor background, okay? And I don't know how many of our listeners remember her, but remember, you know, The Coat of Many Colors. I remember watching her a million years ago, it seems, when she had her Dolly Parton show. But she came from a very, very poor background. In fact, I think they recently came out with a movie about her childhood. Came from a very poor
movie
background.
And a Broadway show.
Yeah, and she has always remembered that. She's not the only one, but she certainly is a pillar of an example of someone who has, you know, gone on to become famous and made a lot of money, but given back to the people around her. And I think that is so important. not only has she given back, but she's also given them opportunity to be able to, help live a life, give some people within her community especially the ability to be able to sustain their lives and make a living through what she's given to the community. It is so important if somebody, of that kind of famous background there can do that, because, that's where the blessings really come in, is when we are giving to others. And I think we even talked about that a little bit last week, didn't we?
We did. And,
yeah.
But, she's also one of those stars you don't hear crap about. Other than, what she's doing. She started that literacy campaign now. It started in Tennessee. Now it's United States wide. But, she ain't in the tabloids that often. The only thing they can talk about is her plastic surgery, and she'll tell you herself exactly what she done, who done it, and how much she paid for it. But I really like her motto on, giving things back and the Iron Butterfly motto of transformation's always coming.
Right.
So, guys, kind of look into that. If you can help out very well. So, Miss Rainey, we got someone joining us at the table tonight. Why don't you go ahead and introduce them, and I'll go get them.
Are you going to go get them?
Yeah.
How far do you have to drive?
Oh, just a cup.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Well, yes, we're very excited because we do have this wonderful guest tonight. And first of all, I want to give a quick introduction here. This is Filippo Poltaggio. I hope I'm saying his name right. Poltaggio, best-selling author, a public speaker, show host of the Life Changes Show, a life coach and creator of the Life Improvement Workshop and the Recalibration. From a professional career, he started as a singer while working on his engineering degree. Wow, what a busy person. To landing a job with the top 3 Fortune 500 companies, then to becoming a singer again. Filippo already had so many stories to tell, about his life experiences to share with everyone. But his life and careers kept changing, and his knowledge and story base expanded until he met a little dog and a cast of characters along the way that led him to his love of sharing what he has learned from his show to his workshops, to his group and one-on-one life coaching. And, of course, his book, which we're going to be discussing tonight, The Little Dog That Could.
Welcome to the show, Filippo.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, why did you write this book?
Why? Why did I write this book? I didn't want to write this book, to be honest with you. I didn't want any part of this story. At least I didn't think I did. You know how it is. I'm sure you two know how it is. You ask questions or you have dreams, and then they kind of come. The answers are there, but you don't like the package that they're wrapped in, so you say, no, it's not that one. And it was supposed to come looking like this. Then I would have known for sure. I've asked a lot of questions and had a lot of desires of all kinds of things since I was a child. So as an adult now, I see things coming through, and I forget that this is part of the path, part of what I wanted, or
right.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when this little dog showed up and this journey that we had together happened, it was very moving to me, not only some of the dramatic parts of the experience, but also the magical, miraculous parts of the experience. And so at the end of all this, I was left in awe. I was left a changed man. And obviously there is no end because we're still going. But when people would ask me about the story, I would break down because it was bigger than me. It was showing me something that I might not have been ready to see at the time. So a friend said, well, if you don't want to tell the story, just write it down. So I thought all I'd have to do was write it down, and I did. I wrote the book. And to answer your question, I wrote the book, I was done with it, and 9 years later, a bunch of friends ganged up on me and said, would you release it? And now the book is there.
So the story did actually happen. And when did this happen?
Well, at this point, it's been 10 years.
Okay.
It happened about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it did happen, and it's interesting that after I wrote it, which was within a year or so of it happening, I did share it with friends just because I thought, okay, I've gifted it to a few people, and that's the end. And, of course, all of them said, you have to release this, and, of course, I didn't until 9 years later. But almost everybody that read it said, if you could change the part that, this happened, that would be really great. Or if you could move this part and before, then that would make more sense. And I'd say, you know what, I agree with you. It might make more sense, or it might be more Hollywoodized if I do that. But if I do that, then I won't be able to say that the story is 100% true exactly as I remember it. And I want to be able to say that. And now I can.
Wow.
Good. So what did you learn about the five senses from this dog? And tell us a little bit about the story, too.
Okay, well, the easier part is a little bit about the story in the sense that it's the story. It's exactly as it happened, and it's chronicled in the book of me having a fun night out with celebrities and friends and feeling good about myself. And I lived alone, and I was driving down the road, and I saw this dog that was about to cross the street. And I see dogs all the time where I live, but for some reason on this particular night, I stopped the car and said, no, don't cross the street, come to me. And as soon as I said that, I thought, well, what a crazy thought. My life is so busy, and I'm traveling, and I'm performing, and there's no way I can have a dog, plus I can't have a dog in where I live. And so the dog did come to me. I brought her home thinking for sure she'd have a tag on, or I'd be able to find her owner or her keeper in the neighborhood, because it was in the neighborhood where I lived, and that didn't happen. And that's all chronicled in the book. And about that time, I had met Dorothy Donahue, who's also in the book, one of the cast of characters, and she's still very much a part of my life. And she is a spiritual healer and a seer and all of that. And I shared this story just in passing. I called her. She lived in San Diego at the time, where are you all, by the way? Talking about snow and all. Where are you all? Denver and where?
West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Although I am originally from California.
Oh, okay. I was picking that up, so you probably know exactly everything I'm talking about. So I'm in Sugar, she's in San Diego. So, and I called her up and I said, hey, I just wanted to tell you I found this dog. And she said, well, she's your dog. And I said, no, you don't understand. I found a dog, and I'm looking forward to helping her find her owner, et cetera, et cetera. And she says, no, she's your dog. And I said, that's impossible. I can't have a dog. And she said, she's your dog until you learn the lesson.
Oh.
And I thought that was pretty crazy, actually. So I kind of hung up the phone, kind of like, that's odd. What does that mean? And every time I thought I had found the perfect home for her, something would happen where that home no longer was available to the dog. And it was an odd thing, and days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and somehow I managed to be able to keep her all this time and not have to travel too far and still be able to travel a little bit with her. And every little thing that happened, I thought, this must be the lesson. It was wishful thinking, actually. I'm like, I have to get this lesson sooner than later because I can't keep this little thing, as adorable as she was. And I was learning lessons when we'd go for a walk, and I'd try and pay attention because of what Dorothy said, to what the dog was doing and what the dog might be thinking, what the dog was smelling and why, and all of that. So I was learning those lessons, but without giving too much away, because it's such a big part of the story that that I can say this much, that something traumatic and huge happened. And it wasn't just that, but then what happened afterwards. So that's the part of the story that I haven't shared publicly on air yet, because I want enough people to be able to enjoy the journey. And it's interesting that a lot of people stop when the trauma happens because they have a hard time getting through it. And it's such an analogy for life that as soon as we come into difficulty with a lover or a partner, a husband or wife or something, or with a mother or a brother, we say, we cut them off. That's it. You know, but maybe there's a gift on the other side of that for us, for them, to be able to push through and say, let's explore this, let's deal with it. So that's one of the things that I learned to answer the question.
Very valuable.
There are so many
information. Yeah. So does that mean you can or you can't tell us what happened in the middle of the story?
Like, you mean, will I break down? Probably.
Well, you know.
You know, the second half of the story, to me, is the story, and it's interesting because many people said, well, you could stop at the first half. That would be a book for everybody. Anybody could read that, dog lovers and all that. And the second half is hard for some people to digest, and I believe this is the reason why. And it came in the form of people saying, well, if you could do that, then you could do this and this, and why don't you do this, or why don't you help me do that? And I didn't expect that, but my answer has been, it's not about, at least for me, what I can do. I know what I did, whether I can do it again or not. I mean, I have in other ways, but it's not about, hey, look at me.
And you'll find us at www.themagichappens.com, your free online magazine.
Did you know that you are surrounded by love every moment of every day? Did you know that all you have to do is reach out and know that you are loved to feel it? Each and every one of us have angels assigned to us, but sometimes we need to learn how to connect with them and to hear them. You're invited to listen, chat, and be loved on Angel Whispers, hosted by your very own divine angel, your messenger of love and healing, live in the Psychic Coffee Shop online Blog Talk Radio channel. You'll see and know that your angels are only just a whisper away.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Do you have burning questions you need answered? We all do. Visit our website at psychic.biz, where you can find accurate psychics, tarot readers, and astrologers from around the world who are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can have your questions answered anonymously and right from your computer, tablet, or smartphone. The introductory chat is always free, and we offer low per-minute rates and special promotions. Our online psychics offer helpful, practical guidance into what matters most to you. Visit us today at psychic.biz.
Some people talk to their pets. Some people talk to their plants. And some people just talk to themselves. We're not being all judgy, but how's that been working out for ya? I've got a better idea. Join Master Psychic Aeson Knight for Conversation with Aeson, the show where you're the co-host. You call, you talk, you live a better life.
You're on the air.
Yes, hi. Thanks for taking my phone call.
You're welcome, darling. How you doing?
I'm okay. Not that great.
Oh, well, how can I help you?
When do you see your boyfriend coming in? And don't say feel good about yourself and in 10 years.
Well, honey, you know, if it's going to be that long, I'll let you know, and you can get a book and a cab.
Out it. I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Conversation with Aeson on Blog Talk Radio's Psychic Coffee Shop Online. Oh, and you can bring your cat. Hi, welcome, relax, have a cup of your favorite topics with your hosts Aeson Knight and Raine Love. There's nothing like a good conversation to warm your soul and give your spirit a break now and then. Aeson and Love have such a wonderful way of exploring topics like psychic phenomena, important topics in our daily lives from a psychic's point of view, and you never know who else will stop by. The Psychic Coffee Shop, live on Blog Talk Radio. So come on in. We made a fresh cup of Java just for you.
To me, because if it was, or if it were, I would have put the book out 10 years ago saying, hey, look at me. Look what I just did.
Mm-hmm.
Look how great I am. But instead, I was keeping it to myself and not sharing. And that was the impetus, back to the why I put it out. That was the impetus of putting out the book. Besides my friends ganging up on me, I did say, I don't need this out there that people know this about me. And they said, have you not learned anything? This isn't about you. This is about what people are going to think about because of what you wrote.
Right.
And maybe, and people will say, I could do that too, or really, we could do that? We could be bigger than what we are, more magical, more amazing? And we can.
Yeah, we can. And, I think that, looking at this book, I really think, the first half's a really good read. The second half is where you make us think. You make us start realizing, okay, what are we doing? What are we really here to do and how to do and, what to happen with it. So you've been surprised by some of the reactions to the book?
Very. It's like you doing a play for the first time and not knowing where the audience is going to laugh or cry or, and being surprised at all that. So I put the book out and I didn't get reviews per se from the friends and associates that I gave it to help me dot the I's and cross the T's and all of that stuff. So, except, you know, it's a really good book, and it's got legs. It's got 4 legs. So that's what I got from them. But then when emails started coming through and calls and Facebook messages on the Little Dog That Could Facebook page or reviews on Amazon, and I'm reading what people are getting out of this, I was amazed, and I shouldn't be, and I'll say it this way, because when I went through the book in editing, and I had an editor and all that as well, but I did also my own editing. But when I went through the book to edit it and make sure the sentences were correct and all of that, and I would learn something different about the story and about myself each time I read it. And by the end of the reading, I would say, oh, so that's really the lesson that I could have gotten back then, but I just didn't know enough to get it. And then I'd inevitably, a couple months later, have to read it again to make sure when it came back from the editor. And then I'd say, oh, I didn't put that together with that. It was all in the story the whole time. The story didn't change. It's just that my understanding went deeper. And so it doesn't surprise me of what people will get depending on where they are on their journey and what they understand and know and all of that.
Now, it's interesting that you say that, because you did make me think of one thing that you were talking about earlier, people kind of getting in the middle of the trauma and then not finishing the journey. Do you think that equates with the statement that you just made?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
So how's this changed how you do your coaching?
How does this change how I do my coaching? Oh, interesting. Well, I've never thought about it like that, but it everything that I've done has changed how I do my coaching. The main aspect of my coaching is something that I've extracted out of the one-on-ones and the groups and called the recalibration. So now I've developed it as a course, and I do more of that than I do the one-on-ones and the groups. But the course is called the recalibration, and people can find out about it at therecalibration.com. But the whole premise of that is that we don't know, and Randy, this gets to your point, we don't always know the whole story. And we don't usually take the time or are able to even, we might not even have the tools to go back and to look at that mistake we made or that which was perpetrated upon us or what have you from an adult mindset. And so people will say, they'll come to me and say on the one-on-ones and say, I want to be a this. And so can you help me be a this, my new career change, et cetera? And I'll say, well, why is that important? Well, I want to be that. Can't you help me do that? And I'd say, if I help you do that, but you really don't want that, I would be doing you a disservice. I'd still make my money, but you would still be unhappy. Because if you want to be a this because your father or your mother said you're not good at this or you're never going to do, and then you end up doing this and are still miserable for the rest of your life, then you're going to need another life coach to help you with that. So I'll help you, but I think this is the bigger help. And people usually see that. I had one client say to me, well, look, I just need to meet girls. He wanted to have a woman in his life. I just need to meet girls. Why aren't you telling me to go out there? And I said, has anyone ever told you to go out there? And he said, yeah, all the time. So why would you need to pay me to tell you to go out there? He's like, well, I thought you could get me to do it. like, the problem isn't the fact that you need to meet girls. You probably meet girls all the time at the grocery store, at the, everywhere. They're everywhere. Meeting them is not the problem. Getting them to find you interesting might be. Or knowing what you're looking for in a young lady might be. So it was an interesting aha moment.
Yeah, that's where somebody definitely needs to go a little deeper.
Right. So that's why I call it the recalibration. It's because it's the same thing. Another client, I need to lose weight, and so. And then at one point it's like, but you're not telling me to go to the gym. And don't you think you should tell me to go to the gym? Like, how many times have we been told to go to the gym? Exercise, walk, how many times? And how many times has it worked? For many of us, not at all. So why do we not want to go? Do we loathe ourselves? Are we afraid of something? So that's, we recalibrate what all that means to us, and then be able to not only look to changing our future, but we're talking about changing our past, where we have a foundation in something that is much more meaningful to us, as opposed to, that kid at school treated me badly, and I understand I was that kid at school that was treated badly. But now I look back and say, if it wasn't for that, I might not have a recalibration course.
Right. Exactly. Very good. Yeah. That's where you come in and you go, okay, I went through this really difficult time. What are the positive things that are coming out of this?
Really?
Yeah. Wonderful. I like that. Perfect example. Back to your book, what do you kind of hope that your reader's going to get from that book? Hello?
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 Did we lose him?
Hello?
I don't know. Are you
Hi,
still
there you are.
Oh.
Hello?
I can hear you. Hello?
Oh, okay. Hello.
Okay.
Somebody recently made the analogy to Aesop's fables, and on the one hand, I don't know if Aesop fables are true or not, but regardless, I did like it in the sense that there was a lesson in them, and I remember from reading them as a child that when our parents would read it to us, or we would talk about them, the lesson seemed to change, and it would change as we either grew up and understood more, or you understand what I'm saying. So,
right.
So, what I hope they get is that what it is, whatever it is that they need at that moment. If they need a good read, then at least they're reading something positive and something inspirational. That's how I see it. And if that makes their day feel good and they drive to work a little happier or what have you because of what they read the night before, that makes me feel good. What I anticipate from this is that more people will stop to think or wonder or believe that there's more to life than the life that most of us are living.
Absolutely.
True. Very, very true.
Yeah. Many of us have our little light turned on, so to speak, and if you can be looking for the signs, whether they come to you in the form of a little dog
right.
or in other ways. To me, at least as far as my personal experiences, that's where the real learning happens, where you learn about yourself and your journey as you go along, and then you go back and reflect. And what I love about the fact is this is in story form, And I think that a lot of people can really relate, like you said, to, the Aesop fables. It's in story form, giving you something to think about. Love the title. Love the title.
I never made the connection that people would think it's a children's book.
No.
But now I get it.
No.
Of course.
Well, I think
the little engine that could, the little dog that deal with it.
Teenagers, I think, could really get a lot from this story.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. And I've heard that from parents. Yeah. Yeah. And talk about story form. I was reading the Celestine Prophecy many, many years ago, and I really liked it. And I remember reading chapter by chapter and wondering, thinking this really happened to somebody. And I believe, I don't remember all the details of the story now, but I believe that much of it could happen. I at one point I thought, well, no, this couldn't have happened. But I did find out later that it didn't happen. And it was a great story and a great lesson to be learned from the story. And I thought, what if it really happened? Or what if there were a story like that really happened? And talk about maybe that was my wish, and then it came true. But here is a story that reminds me of some of the things that happened in the Celestine Prophecy, and then years later.
Here you go. Talk about manifestation.
Ta-da.
So where can our listeners get their hands on this?
Yeah.
Well, it's available both in Kindle form, which is downloadable on PCs or Macs, and any of the products that go with those formats. And it's downloadable and really inexpensively done that way. Or the book can be ordered in a soft copy, and it's available on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble. But if people went to thelittledogthatcould.com, we have all the links there and the reviews and all that, and so people could enjoy reading what other people have thought and decide from there. But thelittledogthatcould.com.
Cool. And they can get a hold of, get onto your coaching schedule and that from there too?
Well, not my schedule. They would have to contact me directly, but they can connect with me through that website, absolutely. And we're actually fixing to do a recalibration weekend. Actually, we're doing one. This is very near and dear to my heart, especially at this time of year. But we're working with an organization that works with veterans. So we're all donating our time at the recalibration team, which is really the Life Changes team from our show. And we're going to do a whole weekend dedicated only to or exclusively to veterans and the friends that accompany them. So that's going to be special to take them through the recalibration process for a weekend.
Yeah. I think that is very absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with their vets coming home now.
Right. Right. And there are a lot of vets here in the Southern California area. So that's going to be special.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I'm excited for everybody to read your book because, you know what, to me, one of my favorite things is to kind of be able to go and read about stories like this that are, we are brought in miracles or lessons in our daily life, like little dogs, or other situations where that's how we're going to learn it, but that's how we're going to get the information across to others. And it just, you have such a vast amount of experience in different areas. Hey, I think it's wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to tell our audience this evening?
Well, I'm hoping, too, that by me sharing this story, that more people will share their stories. I know that there are many stories out there, and because of this book, many people will come up to me at a book signing or at a lecture or write to me and say, I had an experience with a dog that is this, or with my grandmother or with my mother. And I actually talk about something like that with my grandmother in the book just before she passed. So this experience, these kinds of experiences are obviously not just about animals, but for me, the animal connection was the easiest to get through to me kind of thing at that time in my life. But so people say, could we do this with other people, not just animals? And that's just it. I appreciate the question. It's almost like a duh, but this is it. If we don't talk about it, if we're not sharing with each other these stories, how are people going to know? And so that was another impetus to say, put it out there. If not you, then who?
Like that. If not you, then who? Wonderful. Well, with that said, we would like to thank you very much for sharing your time with us this evening.
Well, thank you, Randy and Aeson. This has been a great time with you both.
Great time with you. Thank you very much.
And enjoy the veterans.
Yes, thank you, and enjoy the snow.
You brat. San Diego, come on. We're just going to come move in with you.
Oh no, my publicist didn't send me my address. Send you my address, did they?
No, they didn't do that. We're just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you both. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a happy holiday.
You too.
Okay, guys. Well, let's take a few calls, Rainey. It's going to be just a couple tonight, but let's go ahead and pop a few in there. Let's take 671. 671.
Hello. Good evening. Hello. Is anyone there?
671.
671.
Going once. Twice. Sold. All right, let's go to 586. 586, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Good.
Who
How are
speaking
you?
with tonight?
Doing great. It's Rosemary. I haven't talked to you for a little bit now.
Well, hello.
No, you haven't, honey. What's your birthday?
12/31/74. Okay.
Welcome, Rosemary.
How can Miss Rainey help you?
Whatever you can. I've been working on a lot of stuff, Aeson. Whatever you can get. Like I know I've been manifesting, changing my ways. I just came back from a trip, so whatever you guys can get that's good for Christmas and my birthday this year for a job.
Okay. So I don't do general readings, but is there a specific question that you have, Rosemary?
Sure. Either like job that's coming in for financial or a relationship.
Okay.
Either one.
Oh, okay. The two most important things, money and honey.
True.
Yeah, well, first of all, okay, with relationships, okay, what I am getting is I am getting relationship, okay. I'm not sure if this is someone from the past. It almost looks like there's someone from the past trying to at least do a check-in. But when it comes to money and finances and things working through, I do see that happening, but it looks to me like it's somewhere probably more closer because I'm getting somewhere around the 7-week time period, so it could be more closer to the end of January. But that's when I'm seeing things really starting to come together for you. But it's coming together for you in many different areas in your life. It isn't just the financial. It has to do with relationships. It has to do with things becoming more balanced. But this is also tied into personal changes that you're making within yourself. And I'm also getting you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
This is something that you're actively trying to do right now. Okay? It's when you begin to start to see the fruition of that energy and the changes that you are making.
Yes.
Okay. In other words, you keep it up. It's coming. But actually moving forward, I do see, early on into the year, again, it looks to me like this might be about the 7-week time period, more towards the end of the first month of January. Okay? Don't hold it against me if it's the 3rd week, okay? Your hard work is going to be paying off for you. Things are going to start coming together in different and all areas of your life. So keep it going.
Cool. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. You have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, guys. You too.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, let's go over to 541. 541, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi, who we got?
My name is Anna.
And Anna, what's your birthday?
Christmas Eve, actually. It's coming up.
Oh.
Well, happy early birthday.
Well,
so how can we help you?
Well, I'm just wondering if you can tune into anything that might be coming up for me around this time. Any changes?
Changes. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you what I get, but it's going to be general. I really feel like moving within the next 3 months, we're looking at some financial changes for the better. I also feel like someone's re-entering your life. I don't know in what area, though, because they're just galloping in. Okay?
Okay, re-entering. I don't know what that means or who that could be.
Dark hair, medium health, rounded face, and very hyper. Re-entering means you either kick them out or they left without notice and they're coming back.
I don't know. And I'm going to be renting a room in my house, but somebody's going to be leaving who's here now kind of on a day-to-day basis, but I wouldn't let somebody back into my house if I kicked them out. And nobody left without notice, so I don't think that's quite it.
No.
Well, I don't know. It's a mystery.
It will probably make sense when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let it happen, honey child, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So you're saying
finances, dear.
All right.
Finances are improving.
Finances are improving. Okay, that's what I need to know. All right. Well, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
That's why, with general readings, they're so general, we prefer to do, straight out questions. And I'm going to take one more. We're going to take 917. 917, you're on the air.
Hi, thanks also for taking my call.
You're welcome.
What do you see in terms of work for me, or full-time job, or finances in general?
Let me take a look here. Darling,
sorry?
What's your name and birth date?
Oh, my name is A, and my birthday is January 28th.
It looks to me that finances are going to be improving. I do feel a partnership forming with a new job, and that'll be within 6 weeks, okay?
Okay. And how's the money?
It looks to be a very busy job. It'll be good money. Matter of fact, you're going to have to make sure not to take on too much.
Okay. I'm just feeling a lot of fear.
Yeah, you got to clean out that box of crap.
What?
You got to clean out that box of built-up crap you've put behind you.
Oh, my God. It's like this fear keeps coming up.
Mm-hmm. But that fear is going to overgo. Okay? And I
Sorry?
really feel like that fear will go away.
Okay.
Okay? You just got to get through it and clean it out.
Oh, I see. That's a good one, yeah. Right. Yep. Okay, and anything else for me?
Just to relax. For you, I think journaling is important. You need to get those emotions out, honey. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm eating the extra apples because of the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard.
Very much so. And you just packed it up for so long, it's got to pour out sometime. And now that, you're kind of not focusing on it, it's going to come out much better, much often when you're not expecting it.
Okay, I'll just deal with it then. Don't have to be afraid of the fear.
No.
Thank you.
It's just fear, honey.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, darlings. You're welcome. Well, Miss Rainey, the show has just flown by this week. Now, next week we're going to have a new tarot deck on, and we're going to be talking about that and the fun things of indie tarot. So it'll be great. I can't wait to have her on. It'll be a really fun time, and we're going to be talking about this new age of tarot and maybe some of the new decks she's working on. What are you doing this week, Miss Rainey? Other than mailing me more snow.
Yes, I'm mailing you more snow, okay? And I think I'm going to send you some, I was thinking about cherry syrup and blueberry syrup. I am definitely going to be, on psychic.biz, so everyone can find me there this week. And getting ready for the holidays and just trying to keep things sort of calm. It's a little kooky right now, as I'm sure it is for most of us. And that's about it for right now, but I think it's enough.
Yeah, I think it is, darling. Well, you can reach me and Rainey over at psychic.biz, and using the coupon code FALL16, you should get $5 added to your deposit. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Tomorrow night is Angels Whisperers with Angel Divine. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Or are you feeling stuck and not sure where to turn? We can help. Visit our website at psychic.biz from your computer, smartphone, or tablet, where you can get accurate readings and insight by speaking with any one of our tested advisors. We offer live chat, video sessions, one-on-one phone calls, and even email readings. We have several gifted psychics, tarot readers, astrologers, and other healers from around the world who are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your initial chat is always free, and our psychics do offer special prices and low per-minute rates. Visit us today at psychic.biz and get the guidance you need today for your tomorrow.
You're listening to The Magic Happens Radio Network, sponsored by The Magic Happens magazine. You'll find us at www.themagichappens.com.